Hello and welcome to Garden and Allotment Tips, hosted by Gardening with Ben. If you've not listened to my main podcast channel, head over to Gardening with Ben and give that a follow as well. There's over 100 episodes on there for you to listen to, so plenty on there to keep you going. This podcast is just 5-minute little podcasts sharing different tips and advice every single podcast. And I hope you enjoy it, so click that subscribe button for these podcasts and you'll get notified as new ones come up. So in today's podcast, we're going to be talking about looking after the wildlife in the gardens and the allotments. Now this is something that I do need to get more into doing down at the allotment and in the garden, because if you look after the wildlife will look after you, and that is fact. That is not something I've just made up. If you look after the wildlife, they will look after you. So the ways that we can look after wildlife is obviously for the bees. I'm doing my uttermost down at the allotment to look after the bees, and that is why I'm planting hundreds of spring bulbs to attract the bees when they wake up from hibernation, because when they wake up from hibernation, the spring flowers will be coming out, and that will give them the food and the energy that they need. And also the spring blossom will be coming out on your fruit trees and bushes, so then if they're down there feeding off the spring bulbs, they will help pollinate your trees, so they give back to you if you give to them. So that is the first thing. And the next one is obviously looking after the birds on the allotment. Now this is something that I do need to concentrate on next year. I hold my hands up and I say I don't really look after the birds on my plot, but I do need to start attracting them, because the reason being is that we get slugs on the allotments obviously, and they eat the produce and they can decimate it, so you end up losing all your produce. So we need to start feeding the birds more and attracting the birds to the plot, because as they're eating the food from the bird feeders down on the allotment and any other methods or way of feeding them or giving them drinks of water, they will spot the slugs hiding away on the plot and they will eat the slugs up for you, and that will stop everything getting eaten. So again, if you give to the birds will give back to you. And I've seen a good post recently today of somebody covering pine cones in peanut butter and then rolling them in bird food and hanging them up in the garden, and they look fantastic. So if you've got kids, that is something good for you to do with them. And the last one is frogs. Now if you're not allowed a pond on your allotment, just put a bucket down in the plot and try and attract the frogs to the allotment, because if you attract the frogs to your plot, again they will hop around and they will eat the slugs at night when they're coming out, and that is a must. I really do need to try and get the frogs down on my plot and get them eating the slugs. And I do love seeing the frogs hopping around. It's always great to see frogs. As a kid I used to hold frogs in my hand and stroke them, and I used to look after them in my garden. So I do love seeing frogs down on the plot. So yeah, that has been your tips on looking after the wildlife in your garden. If you look after the wildlife, they will look after you, and they will stop the pests what are around on the plot, and they will hopefully get you better produce, and exactly, you will get fantastic produce. So I hope you've enjoyed this podcast today. Remember to do click that subscribe button. Until next time, remember, keep smiling, keep gardening, and keep listening to Gardening with Ben podcasts.